Hey, Martin here again. Welcome back to Books by Boyce. Today I'm going to read to you the first part of a short story entitled The Fair. Now, I don't want to say too much about this. The protagonist has a fear of something, and maybe it shows the extent to which we manifest our fears. Our fears become real based on the fact that we give them power by believing in them. Something like that. Yeah, but I don't want to tell you what he's afraid of because I like stories that are open to interpretation, right? So you can come to your own conclusions and let me know in the comments or, by carrier pigeon. So, part one, the fear. Before I knew what scars were, that they, like the roots of the bougainvillea tree, could reach down and crack the foundation upon which everything stands. Before this, I did not like the ones on my face. They said too much without having been asked, and like small children, who, despite having learnt from wrinkled brow elders to be seen and not heard, were quick to let strangers know my business. Without an introduction, it was clear I was damaged. People would ask the details with their eyes, lingering on the diagonal train track across my nose bridge. I would respond in memories of a boy running through a closed door that looked open because it was made of glass. With a glance, they could also see that the boy had attempted to become a man, and that the small eruptions accompanying the process had wounded me in a way that could not be kept secret. "You too soft," the description of a souffle that had not yet set because it needed to be left in the cold longer. These were also words my mother used to show me affection, words that I'd made up my mind in an attempt to forgive her, were not hers but belonged to her mother, who'd accepted them like the Gospels from her mother, and so on, barbs of women called mothers, in a heritage reaching back before ways of showing affection existed. Her solution was that I should grow a thicker skin, because it was obvious the one I had was not able to bear the tongue lashings she continued to belt out well into my adulthood. Surely she knew that my present skin was the only one I would ever have because it was taken from her womb. And with such a beginning, why should there be any reason my wounds wouldn't scar as they healed? There was, indeed, no good reason. And then, one day, they stopped healing. It was nighttime, not a natural night caused by the dance of the planets, but a night created by thick curtains through which no light can shine, being closed across a window well into a day meant to expose deeds concealed by the darkness. Like a cave whose entrance is hidden someplace, no one is likely to find it. Through a dark veil into a dark day, I saw a naked adolescent who looked like he had been cut out of the absence of light in the shape of an almost man. On that day, I knew I had grown up and stood tall on the outside, but had diminished inside. How had this come to be? Okay, so that's part one of the short story, The Fair. Now, I've decided to make the parts a little shorter just because I saw the other parts are over 5 minutes. It's just, so that it's shorter. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being my sponsors. I love you. And also, see you for part two here on Books by Boyce, where I give you Red Ram realness. You know what? I haven't explained the Red Ram part of it. Maybe if you friend me on Facebook, you'll figure it out. But Red Ram's just a nickname. before I left, for those of you who have been reading my blog, Red Ram at the Red Ram at WordPress, before I left for Japan, I threw a party, and here in Barbados, dance hall posters are like, I was gonna say super tacky, but there's a style associated with dance hall posters, right? You know, the gangsters are standing up, and there's a woman, a hoochie mama, I think you call it in the States, and she's like in these like really short pants, and she's like looking back at her butt, and so I created a dance hall poster like that with a friend of mine, and so we had to give each other like nicknames, and mine was the Red Ram. And here in the Caribbean and in Barbados, a ram is associated with sexual virility. So, and my skin color, I'm called Red Man. So the Red Ram, that was a given, right? But anyway, next time, part 2. Tune in.